United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'd remain standing, please. Pastor Basile will give our invocation.
I want to share a Merry Christmas from your Allen Park chaplains to everyone here, our council, our mayor. Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for this time, your presence, and Lord, the opportunity to serve you and our city. Lord, we pray blessing upon our city this season. We ask for strength and guidance. Lord, for those who may be suffering and hurting, we ask for strength and help and peace. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Clerk would take our roll, please.
All right, Councilman Templin.
Present.
Councilman Cisco is asked to be excused. Councilman DeGiulio.
I'm here.
Councilman Gabarecki.
Present.
Councilman Rourke.
Here.
Madam Pro Tem McLeod.
Here.
Treasurer Armstrong.
Present.
And Mayor Mategas.
Present.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Ask for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion, Mayor.
Councilman DeGiulio has moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem McLeod has supported. Are there any changes, additions, deletions?
I'd like to separate claims and accounts tonight there, Mr. Mayor.
Without objection, we'll separate claims and accounts, and we'll also take a separate motion on the payroll account, not as a consent item. Any other changes? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. I need a motion for approval of the minutes for November 27th, 2018.
Motion.
Councilman Templin has moved. Councilman Rourke has supported. Is there any discussion of the minutes? There are a lot of them. Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same time. Carried. At this time, we are going to have the audit presentation by the Plante Moran partner and manager of the audit, Kristen Hunt, their partner, and Aaron Sarber. And our audit is required by state law, and it must be filed with the state before December 31st. And so the council has had a work session on it. We'll hear it again. The council will then act on it, and assuming it's accepted, it will be then filed with the state. Thank you. Come ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate the opportunity to be able to present the results of the June 30th, 2018 audit to City Council. I'm happy to be able to report that the city did have a clean audit opinion this year. It's an unmodified opinion, so that is the highest form of assurance that we can provide. There were some significant events that happened this year, mainly with the construction of the new building, and that did impact the general fund. We have some slides that Aaron will go through that will kind of summarize the activity of the general fund this year, so we'll walk you through that and capture that. Even with the funds that the general fund provided to assist with the construction of this building, you did end the year in a solid financial position for the general fund. So if you looked at your end of the year unreserved fund balance, as it compares to 1 year's worth of expenditures in your general fund, you've got 16% set aside. So the city is really stabilized and be able to have that extra funding set aside that you're able to use in case there's emergencies arise. Usually in cities your size, we recommend that you have that at a level of between 15 and 20%. So having that right in that sweet spot, even after you made a significant investment here with the construction of City Hall, is a very good place to be in. So with that, I will turn it over to Aaron, and he will go through the slides that really summarize the general fund activity for the year, and we're happy to answer any questions as we go along. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll take a quick spin through these slides here. Let's see here. Here we go. All right, so the first slide here, this is the city's general fund revenue. And, you know, we have this, the first column there is last year's revenue, and Second column is this year's revenue. So there was a slight decrease this year, but overall still very strong. Our largest revenue source is property taxes and continues to be property taxes. And as you can see, that increased from 12.2 million to 12.6 million this year. And that's about a 360,000 increase, or 3%. And really, the main decrease is driven by items 3 and 4 there. So our federal sources, that's our federal grant revenue that we get. It went down from 788,000 last year to 280,000 this year. And that's a result of the city no longer receiving the SAFER grant, which helps to pay for firefighter salaries. And the decrease in the state sources line, that's mostly a result of the local community stabilization authority revenue the general fund receives. This year, a portion of that revenue was allocated to other funds instead of the general fund. The next graph that we have here is our general fund expenses. So as you can see, the expenses did increase this year, and that's pretty much all related to our first line item there, the transfers to other funds. And this year, the city created a capital projects fund, which was used to show all the expenses related to the construction of the new city hall. So the general fund transferred approximately $3.5 million to the capital projects fund to help pay for the construction of the new city hall, which is most of our increase there in that transfers line item. And then if you go to the very last line item, you'll see is our public safety expenses, and that continues to be the largest expenditure of the general fund, and that is very common in most cities throughout the area, as that's the main, one of the main services provided to our residents is public safety. Here we have a graph of our general fund expenses. As I just mentioned, public safety makes up the majority of our general fund expenses at 36%, and we have the various other categories, such as general government, our district court, and public service, which would be public works, so our DPW expenses. And here is our general fund balance. So this is what we kind of have set aside at the end of the year. So as you can see, it decreased from last year. And as I mentioned before, that's really a result of all the money that we sent to help pay for the new city hall. But if you look, our unassigned, so that's kind of like our rainy day fund. It went down slightly, but the $3.1 million we still have set aside, that represents 16% of our annual expenditures, as Kristen mentioned. So, you know, that's how much we have set aside in case of anything that comes up and to fund our future expenses. And there's our contact info if you need to get a hold of us or have any other further questions. Are there any questions at this time?
Council have any questions for either of the presenters?
Just a real quick one. So the reason we went down $3 million or so in the general fund is that paid for City Hall?
Yes.
That went
As I
totally
mentioned,
for City Hall?
Yep. Yeah, there was $3.5 million that the general fund used to help pay for the construction of the new city hall.
We don't owe anything on City Hall, correct?
That's
It's a
correct.
paid-for building. We own it. City owns it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I want to thank our presenters, and I would ask for a motion from council to accept the audit
Motion, Mayor.
as presented and to file it with the state. Councilman DeGiulio was moved. Councilwoman Gawarecki has supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are carried. Thank you very much.
Let's get all this out of your way.
Oh, I thought you were trying to short out our system here, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Go to organizational business and the city administrator, please.
Hey, good evening, Mayor, Council, residents of Allen Park. First, I want to thank Bob, Katie, and Amanda Wirtz and the entire staff in the City Hall for all their help on the audit. It is a monumental task to do that project, and they did a wonderful job, as always. Amanda did a great job of really getting things ready and beforehand. And, Bob, from the budget aspects, always done a good job, so I do thank them. Great team effort. Just some updates on some projects that we've got going on here. Last Thursday, we were at the American Public Works Downriver Branch annual meeting, and the City of Allen Park was awarded the 2008 Project of the Year for the McLean Avenue pavement and water main replacement project. That is the third year we've received this award, and we thank APWA for recognizing the project. And most importantly, we thank the residents of Allen Park for supporting the millage, road millage a few years back. Could not do it without the resident support, and we do greatly appreciate that, as this was part of that street improvement millage project. Just a couple of updates here. Last date for compost pickup is this Friday, December 14th. And after that, we won't be picking up again until probably the first week of April, which is just around the corner, as is opening day. So just get ready. Forget winter here, and we're going to go down to that. Some great news. The pancake breakfast the firefighters sponsored on a couple of Sundays ago. They served over 750 people. And if you've got a chance to get out there, they had a great turnout and did a great job. They raised enough to be able to feed 35 to 40 families here in Allen Park for Christmas. So great job by the firefighters. Not to be outdone, the shop with a cop took place last Wednesday at Meyer's. Thank you to Meyer. They contributed $3,200 to the project. Roush donated $1,000. Money that they collect from, they have a weekly lunch barbecue at one of the facilities that the employees pay for, and that the proceeds of that go into this fund. $1,000 for them. Through Punch Andrews and the Allen Park Citizen Civic Fund. Punch Andrews is actually associated with Bob Seeger. There was a $1,000 donation, and then also Lynn Kettlehut, who was a realtor here in town, another $100. So collectively, I think they had $5,300. They were able to help 8 families. They had 21 children that were participating, so 8 families through that project. Again, a great project for through the police department in helping the people in need here in the city. And then just a reminder, City Hall will be closed for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, the 24th, 25th of December, the 1st and 2nd, or the 31st and 1st for the New Year. And then the council meeting is next Tuesday, the 18th. We'll be meeting here instead of the 25th. And then also real quick, the mayor had asked that we update the council and also the residents of anybody, new businesses coming into town. So I've included 2. And we'll get this process formulated maybe a little bit better, but welcoming into the City of Allen Park Tropical Smoothie Cafe on Southfield Road, and then also State Farm Agency opened over on Reek within the last couple weeks here, and we do welcome them to the City of Allen Park, and hopefully they'll have a prosperous time while they're here to serve with us. I was up on the hill a couple days ago. Chick-fil-A has started doing some movement of earth up there. They are going to be delayed until probably the springtime, as their engineer had some wrong depths on some piping, so they're on hold now. But they are still looking forward to a opening sometime in late 2019, possibly early 2020. I'm hoping 2019. And then also Culver's, as you recall, was gangbusters in here at one time, and then you didn't see anything happen. They're now at gangbusters again. They dropped off, applications and wanted permits, yesterday. They have been granted some permits, and they should be starting construction on their facility, and that's going to be the old Ruby Tuesdays right out front here within the next few weeks, I would imagine. They will not be opening by the end of the year as they had hoped, but I imagine they're going to probably be somewhere in the late spring to first part of summer in that project. So. And that is everything I have.
Can I have a motion to accept and file the city administrator's updates, reports, and documents?
Motion. Support.
Mayor Pro Tem McLeod has moved, supported by Councilwoman Gavrecki. Are there any questions of the city administrator? Hear or see none, so I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Carried. The city clerk has given us a 2019 council meeting session for second and fourth Tuesdays, and I think they look like all second and fourth Tuesdays all the way through to December, much like this year, where that one will be on Tuesday the 17th in December. Could I have a motion for the 2019 schedule?
Motion, Mayor.
Councilman DeGiulio has moved. Councilman Rourke has supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. It's carried. We're at the portion of the program where the public can come forward and comment and ask questions. I ask that you observe the rules of decorum that are on the back of your agenda. And at this time, please come forward.
Good evening, Dennis Hayes, Quant Avenue. I notice on the agenda there's a resolution to approve the settlement agreement subject to approval of MML, et cetera, regarding Tracy Brown. She, I believe, is the police officer who was at least alleged, and now it seems rather certain that she was sexually molested by one of our staff here in the city.
Counselor,
Well, this is a matter of public record, Counsel.
well, I'm not sure that is public record, but
Well, it's been on television, the allegations are, okay, let's suffice it to say that an allegation that resulted in somebody filing a complaint in the courts for sexual harassment is now at a level where it's going to be settled. Is that correct, Counsel?
there's two things that have to happen. One is this body needs to approve it, and then we need the insurance company to approve it. So,
Yes, I understand
so
that.
when
But let
that
me say
happens,
so you don't absorb all my time,
No,
Counsel.
okay.
What I want to say is that what I want to ask is when will the public be aware of what all this city is going to be liable for with respect to this settlement?
yeah, once it's approved by the insurance carrier,
Then it will be public information?
yeah, this
The cost?
subject to the protecting our employees as best we can. The public will know what happened here. The end result of that.
All right, well, let me just further, so you don't absorb too much more of my time. Let me just also offer to correct the record. I know I heard Mr. McGusson, my neighbor on Quant, at the last couple meetings, he raised this issue, and he was talked down, of course, because it was not ripe to discuss, but now that's on the agenda, I think it is. And I think one of the questions he asked was the mayor and the police chief on board at the time of this incident, which, as I understand it, was sometime in the latter part of 2015. The mayor said no, and he didn't think the police chief was either. I'd like to correct the record to show that the mayor was, in fact, the mayor at the time, and the chief of police was the chief of police. And a further question Mr. McGusson asked was about the zero tolerance. If indeed we had a perpetrator within the ranks of our employees that's now costing the city untold hundreds of thousands perhaps of dollars, maybe $1 million, who knows, what is our posture about zero tolerance? If indeed, as I heard the mayor say, that the policy's been in effect since 1994 for the police department, how can we allow this kind of perverted, aggressive, obnoxious behavior to occur in this city at the risk of costing us who knows how much money? Is there going to be a posture of the city that somebody who's accused of that and found to be liable of that will be immediately terminated without any benefit, without any ability to get a disability pension or any other kind of pension for that kind of egregious behavior? Will the council, anybody on this council, stand up and support that kind of posture? Because as a city in this day and age, particularly in the Me Too movement and all the rest, we don't have the backbone to stand up and say we're not going to reward people who behave that way. Not in this city. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor Ray McGusson, Quant. Well, since Plant Moran's gone and we can't ask them no questions, maybe I'm gonna ask, maybe I can go through the chair and go to Mark. If you would help answer this question, or anybody else on city council. I know our pension liability is quite large, and it's one of our largest amount of money that we put out by our city. Right now, when we hire new police officers and new firemen, are they under strictly 401ks, or do they go ahead and put into the pensions? And if they don't put into the pensions, how many officers or policemen or whatever we have right now, once they're done and there's no one putting into it, how is it going to keep funded when we have over 300 people right now that are retired? Question.
You want to take that?
The way it works currently, the police officers and firefighters that are hired do have a defined benefit pension. That system has not closed for police and fire. It has closed for the general employees, the DPS, clerical workers. They do not have retiree health care. They have a high health savings plan that is a 3% contribution by the city, 3% matched by the employee, and that is the retiree health care that they'll have when they go forth. They'll have a 401k retiree health care system.
So they still put in. Okay, then question.
Yeah, and
are they able to retire?
As they're members of those two, police and fire, they do contribute to their.
Okay, they still able to retire with 25 years of service?
On the new employees, I believe so. I'd have to go back and verify.
So we're still hiring people, going to allow them to retire with 25 years of service, with 70% of their adjusted amount of money they make. That means making more retired on base wage than when they were working. So that's still in effect?
The system has not been closed for police or fire.
Through the chair, but they are capped now. They can't make the amounts we heard in the past, like in the late 90s, early. Yeah. They are capped at a certain amount.
Let me correct the city clerk. The police department does have a cap.
Oh,
the fire department is still in arbitration.
Oh.
Wow. So they can make over 80 grand retired, and they were making less than that when they were working? You're looking at me kind of strange, Mark. Yes or no? I take it the answer is yes.
This is audience participation. This is not a question and answer between me and you.
Okay. I'm just letting the public out there know where we're standing, because when the economy takes a crap, which is definitely going,
as you asked it, I answered.
I understand, Mark. So when the economy goes down to where we were again, then we, the citizens, are going to have to keep this crazy thing funded. I guess that's where the answer is. Since I got a little bit more time, what about the new hotels or whatever they are up on the hill? Are they helping with tax?
There was no tax abatements for the hotels.
So they don't pay no taxes?
They did not receive any tax abatements. They do pay taxes.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Does it go into our city coffers, or is it collected by the DDA?
It's a complicated formula. I can't give you an easy one answer.
All right.
It goes into the SLP. It goes into pay the bonds off.
All right. Have a great day. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you all.
Good evening, board members. My name is Irene Sanchez, and I've been a resident here in Allen Park for 24 and a half years. And I would like to ask the board if it would be at all possible to make a dog park for the residents of Allen Park. That's all.
Isn't that in the thoughts, Mayor?
We are looking into creating a dog park.
You are?
We are. Now, don't expect next spring for it to be there, because there are some costs as part of a bigger project that are going to take the city several years to get there. But we are looking at it, and we're hopeful that certainly within 5 years we'll have it. I know that sounds like a long time, but the city hall has drawn down our resources so that if we're to meet our capital budgets over the next 5 years, our operating budgets over the next 5 years, it's going to take us that long to accumulate all that money to do that whole project, which involves selling properties and doing a host of things. It's a,
Okay.
okay, but we are considering it, but we have to consider it as part of a larger
Right,
project.
I understand.
I don't think Ms. Sanchez
But-
expected the answer you gave her, because the audience
Years.
the audience can't see the look on your face right now. As a resident of Allen Park, though, we do have an agreement with the city of Woodhaven that you can get a membership as a resident rate at their location,
Yeah,
and they do honor that.
it's a ways.
10 miles.
All right, thank you.
Sue Sacheda, Downriver Sunday Times. Will the dog park
Just-
be at the?
Well, just hold one moment, would you please? Because we do have a rule that residents and everyone else will speak first, and we'll let you come up. If there are no other citizens that wish to come forward at this time, come forward, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Frank Mendoza, live on Warwick Avenue, 22-year resident of Allen Park. I'm gonna bring up something I know people's not gonna like. It's about your police department. There's been a lot of incidences over the years, and I have to tell you, I've lived in Allen Park for 22 years, I lived in Detroit for 32 years, and I lived in 2 other cities. I have never run into a more arrogant, sarcastic, disgusting, rude, and anything else you could say of 75% of your officers out here. I'm going to tell you the latest that happened. The other day, 3 weeks ago, people that moved in across the street, somebody come to visit, none of them could speak English. They ended up having to call somebody to come to speak. She passes up the house, she backs up recklessly, sideswipes my wife's car. Okay, the officer Jablowski that comes out there, the way he writes up the report, minor damage, it's over $1,000, first off. He writes up that it was the person across the street that did it, which it wasn't. It was a woman from Farmington Hills visiting. Come to find out, he wouldn't even talk to me. I'm talking to him. I said, are you ignoring me? No, I'm just not paying attention to you. What kind of sarcasm? To me, for a 5th grader, isn't that the same thing? Okay. So I go up on my porch, and I just let it go. My wife's handling it and everything. He goes over, he's friendly with them, talking to them for like almost a half an hour. Talks to us for a couple of minutes. Come to find out, she didn't get a ticket. I call, Wilkowitz will give, he is sarcastic from the bottom to the top. He is sarcastic. He would not tell me whether she got a ticket. Find out on your own. Okay, I got to do this? You can't tell me whether she got a ticket? Okay, so I did find out on my own. I found out today from the courthouse that she did get no ticket at all for anything. Top it off with, she has no insurance. I told them at the police station today about that. Well, take it up however you need to take it up. We didn't know she didn't have, she showed us an insurance thing. I'm telling you now she don't. Well, you have to talk to Jablowski, and what's that? 2 weeks from now when he comes back from vacation. Why is it up to him to come back out and issue? She should have gotten tickets. That's a crime. Driving without insurance is a misdemeanor. We all know that, right? No ticket. No ticket for recklessly backing up down the street and hitting the car. And then he lies, that's a lie on the report, the way he wrote it. As far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna take this somewhere else to find out about police officers lying on reports, okay? Now, we can go back even, I'll go back a little bit more before my I'm gonna tell you about Markovich. We have Officer Markovich, 2 years ago, had an incident at Little Caesar's Pizzeria where I had to call them out. A couple of them went in there to talk to them. Markovich comes over. Very identifiable police officer. You can identify him out of every one of yours because he's short, he's lighter than most of us, he wears black rim glasses, and he's bald. What does Wilkowitz tell me? We have a lot of bald officers here. I know that, but I just gave you a whole bunch of descriptions. That doesn't fit any of our officers. I'm sick of the lies. I'm sick of when I go down there and complain, it gets thrown away. I'm on my way out to Lansing to the Attorney General, and I'm on my way to talk to the FBI because I don't know if anybody else here knows anything. Did anything ever happen over the terroristic threats? I took my child, by Albright's son, I took my child out of the Allen Park school system this year because we have had, what, 10, 12 threats in this city in schools, and not one was found credible. And what I find amazing is, this is another officer who gave me a hard time, Magdagro, a reject from E-Course, is the school liaison, and none of these where they pointed guns at cameras and everything else, and the terroristic threats that Albright's son made, and none of them are credible. Are any of these people's children safe in this city in schools? I mean, seriously, what is going on here? And the way I get treated, and the last one, Nielsen, I'm probably close. Nielsen. Okay.
That is your time, sir. I'm sorry.
All right.
Mr. Mendoza.
It is on record that I'm going to the FBI. I'm taking the Albright case to the FBI.
Any other citizens? Hearing none, I will take the journalists now, please.
Not worth it.
Thank you. We'll move on to claims and accounts. A motion to put claims and accounts before the council, please.
Motion, Mayor.
Councilman DiGiulio has moved. Do I have support? I'm sorry, support was?
Mr. Templin.
Mr. Templin, excuse me. Okay, Mr. DiGiulio, your questions?
Okay, the first one here is on page 1, labor attorney, Cornerstone Municipal Healthcare and Benefit Consulting. Does that pertain to the Russ Pillar lawsuit or the Dale Covert lawsuit, or both of them? Who does it pertain to?
Councilman, that is for the Covert case. That is a current bill that we had for Cornerstone Municipal as a expert witness for the city regarding health care coverage. And we also did use them in the Pillar case.
I've been using both, okay. Next one is here, labor attorney also, Greenow, Maria E.
Maria Greenow is the, she does the transcription for the fire arbitration.
Okay. And I might add, both these lawsuits were total $3,500 in this 2-week period. Okay, thank you very much there, Mr. Kibbe.
Any other questions by council? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. That is carried. Like a motion to accept the payroll report, please. Mayor Pro Tem McLeod has moved. Support.
I'll support for the question.
Councilwoman Gawarecki has supported. And Councilwoman, you have a question on that report?
Oh, are we not taking item B as part of the consent agenda as well?
Yeah, I did when we accepted the agenda. I said we'd take them as separate items.
Oh, okay.
So, but you have no question?
No, I just know in the past
ask a
we've
point of
taken the
order.
rest of them as one
Yeah.
consent. I missed that part. Thank you.
If there are no questions, so I will ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. That is carried. The finance actions, a motion to accept the November 2018 finance overview, budget to actual report, balance sheet, and cash flow.
Motion.
Councilman Templin has moved. Councilman Rourke is supported. Are there any questions by council? I hear none. I will ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is carried. We move to resolutions. A resolution to approve the settlement agreement between the City of Allen Park and Tracy Brown is recommended by the insurance carrier and council who represented the city and presented at closed session on November 27th, 2018. Subject to the approval of the MML, Michigan Municipal League's liability and property pool.
Motion, Mayor.
Councilman DiGiulio is moved. Do I have support?
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem McLeod has supported. Questions by council? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. That's carried. We're at other business. Does council wish to speak, please?
I'll go.
Councilman Rourke?
I just want, you had mentioned earlier, or Mark did, with the fire department, and the breakfast with Santa went very well. And coming up this Sunday, Inner City always has their Christmas pageant or concert, which is very nice. And that is Sunday the 16th at 6 p.m. And then on a sadder note, everybody goes back to Mayor Frank Latta. His wife had passed away last week, so it was good seeing young Jimmy and young Frankie over there. But just keep family in your prayers as well. Thank you.
I'll go. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gavrecki?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank everyone for coming out this evening, for your comments, and for the students that are here as well. Have a good night.
Councilman DiGiulio?
I'll be real quick, Mayor. Good night.
Mayor Pro Tem? Well, I too want to thank everyone for coming out, particularly the students, and I don't think there's any other business tonight, so we will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Support.
Councilman Rourke has moved. Councilman DiGiulio has supported. All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. We are carried and adjourned at 6:40.